Okay, welcome to another tr6 parts video. Today's video, crash pad removal, driver's side. So, if you haven't seen my other video, I've done another video on how to remove the crash pad on the passenger side and the steps to go through it. However, if you're watching this first, removing these is not, well, it's easy and not easy, if that makes any sense at all. They're held on by very little, but it's hard to get. You have to remove a lot to get there, especially on the driver's side. So, the crash pad itself is held on by 3 bolts. One here, one right under the vent, and there's a tab that's right up the top. So, what we want to do to remove it is, first of all, we want to remove your seal, your door seal, your flux seal on the side to give you a bit of room and space. I know you see that the crash pad is removed and the windscreen, it doesn't have to be, that can stay on it. But you do have to remove the dashboard. I don't recommend leaving it on because even if you removed all the dials and everything to get access, if you bend or twist it, there's a good chance that the dashboard will break. So take the dashboard off. If you're not sure how that's done, I do have another video that explains and shows you how to remove the dashboard. So go watch that first if you're not too sure. So let's say you get to this point and yes, you're just changing this pad. What we want to do is, once we have the dashboard off, in this case, when I've done the passenger side, I've taken the glove box off, and it makes a huge difference. Is the studs up here, I want to take off the bolts of the ones over here. The ones on the far side I didn't need to take off, I just need to loosen. However, these are going to take off because I can't necessarily pull the dash panel out, the metal, because it's, well, basically the steering column is all connected in there. But I can go down with it. Now I can go out and down so far, I do have a little bit of play, but I can't go as far as the passenger side. So, once we take these nuts off here, we'll be left with pretty much what you see in front, albeit this car has no seat in it, you'll be sitting on a seat. If you want to remove the seat to gain more access, that's up to yourself. So there is one more bolt I took out, and here it is here. And if you watch the other video, you might know what this is. This is the one that goes onto the side, the bottom of the dash panel that goes into the A post. It just screws in the very bottom, and you're basically going to take that out all the way. If you didn't and you removed all the top and there was no steering column, the steering, your dash plate would actually be able to fold right down. But we're going to take that out to allow us to get some more movement. So that's out. I've removed all the studs here, and yes, the A-frame is not in this car, so I have a bit more flexibility than you would do. But if the A-frame was in and you didn't take it out, if you're not doing a restoration job and you're just at home, this is where we get a little pry bar. We have to get a little pry bar and just sit it in right on the metal underneath the crash pad and just push as much as we can and try pull it out. It'd be a little tough, but once you get it out, it will actually come out so far. So, there, right? Now it's popped out because the other side is loose and the whole thing is popped right out. So, here's the tab here. There's the tab at the top that people struggle with. That's the one that's hard to get there. So once we bend the dash pad out so far, the metal, then what it allows us to do is actually open up that tab. However, before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take the nuts off. Now, in order to do it, there's one thing I forgot to mention as well. If you haven't done it, is remove the bottom vent. That should come out because it gets in your way. It simply gets in the way. So I have to get out of the car to do this. So I'm going to move the camera a bit. But I've already removed the other 2 nuts, just to try and make it just a little quicker. Oh, bumped into the camera. And I've already removed one, so now that I've pulled the vent down, now what that is now the vent is down, it allows me to gain access in behind here a lot easier. So now with it down, I think I can reach my hand here and feel the bolt was pretty much here. I'm going to use the extension. I've already taken the 2 off because now I've got these off. I can here and take it off. Now, it's one thing taking these off because you can screw and let them fall. It's a little harder to get them back on. So if you're putting them back on, my suggestion is don't use a deep socket because it will just go in all the way. Use a short one. Put the nut in it, and then you should be able to screw it in. Okay. So now that's off. I should be able to pull this a little bit more. So now I have a bit of play on it. And now I'm going to pull the dash out and get that tab off. So hopefully you can see this. I'm going to raise it up a bit. So now it's pretty much loose at the bottom. So now I'm going to take a flathead screwdriver, and now I can pull the frame out a bit. And now I'm going to take that tab off. So if you were putting this on, you do the same thing. The tab will be in straight, you just simply pull it over and you just simply bend it. Just bend it whatever way you can. But now the tab is off. All that's left to do is make sure all the vinyl on the side here is peeled off. That's the last thing that's going to hold it on, is whatever is glued to. It's glued around the band. So there we go. There it comes. So, oh, I'm stuck here. This is the part that was lastly glued around, and that's why I wouldn't pull. But now it's out. Again, like the other one, when it gets so far out, you'll realise if you haven't done this, if you're not doing the restoration, that the centre one, trying to get it, you can see it. The centre plinth, it sticks in behind it. So you have to sort of wiggle it out so far and then pull it out. So there we go. So here's our, no seat in this, so there's our 3 nuts, 1, 2, there's the third one there. So if you see it, it's right on the bend. It lines up pretty much, there's the hole for it there. So that's where it is. So once you undo the vent, it comes down. Now again, this was probably, I'm not going to lie, it was probably a little easier because the A-frame wasn't on it and allowed it to be bent down a little bit more to get a little bit more play up the top. However, as I said, once you have a pry bar, you can put it in and it will come out so far. It will pop out. You can always undo the bolts on the A-frame but not actually take it out, and that will still allow the dash to slide a bit. So as you can see, all the cables are still connected to this, and there's still a lot of room to play, and then it's popped right off. But if you're doing both, which is probably recommended, well then this is how you're going to do it. And if you're taking the center plinth out, well then start with that. Remove all the, remove your fan, remove your cables, unscrew that first, and it'll make it a lot easier to get the rest of the crash pads out. So basically that's it. That's how we take it off. And to get it back on is the exact same thing. The tab will be straight. We'll put the tab over. We'll bend it around. Just bend this around the top. You can use your little pliers, little long nose pliers. Once it's bent around the top, it will, well, you've already shoved it in at that stage. You can pre-glue it beforehand and yeah, put the screws on it. But the main thing is to get that tab over the top. Give yourself as much room. Give yourself as much room to allow this part to move. Pull it out, get the tab over, put it back in. And then once this moves, like I said, there's a fair bit of space here. You can always bend this out if you really need to. You can always bend it back. It'll look a little warped, but once the flux is on it, it won't make much of a difference. But that's trying to shove it in without removing this the metal. You're, to be honest, it's this expression, you're pissing against the wind because you're just going to destroy the side of the crash pad trying to get it in. So that's basically it. If you like this video, hit the button. Hit subscribe to the channel if you like any of the other videos. And if there's anything you like, send me a message, get in contact with me, any comments, questions, concerns, get in contact with me, or if there's a video you'd like me to do, then I'll try my best to do it. So that's basically it. Thanks for watching.